And here we go. We had some technical problems just as I was about to go live. My yeah, the technology gods were not smiling at me at first, and then they smiled at me just now, almost 10 minutes late. Anyway, here we go. Welcome. I want to welcome everybody here from both on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I think we might be broadcasting on YouTube as well. Brief note, just as everybody is still coming in, um, the comment section is going to be visible or not visible to you depending on your settings in the appliance or the platform that you're using. Okay, so if your settings tend to be set on private, then you probably won't be um, seeing the comments in your platform active. So just bear that in mind that your experience here this evening, where the comments is and where being interactive with me is concerned, depends a lot on your settings. Okay, so welcome again to everybody. Um, my name is Rodney Davis, and I've been in education for about 26 years. Okay, recently retired, and I've been operating here all this time on island of St. Martin. Okay, now I'm helping teachers basically to transition. Those who want to, and even those who don't want to as yet, to find their secret sauce to see how they can diversify. Okay, so that's what I've been busying myself with. Um, the let's say the theme of today's little rant, I'm going to call it a rant, is that you're already an expert. Okay, this is not a pep talk, it's a fact, you know. And so as people settle in, I wanted to just let you know that we're going to keep this very short because at 7 o'clock I have to be inside the Facebook group, and I don't want to be late there. Okay, what I'm hoping for is that most of you follow me in there, so I'm going to put it up front. Somewhere towards the end of this broadcast, I'm going to have it flash on the screen, the link for you to go and join the Facebook group. Okay, because that's where the real value happens. All right. I'm quite aware that I'm dealing with teachers, and teachers are not going to be interactive on a public forum, especially when it has to do with sensitive topics like income, side income, and those kinds of things. And so we have to get more private before we can really get interactive. And so this is just basically to get you to see what the kind of topics we're going to be dealing with, and then hopefully you follow me into the Facebook group. Teachers transfer knowledge daily. Okay, that's what we call pedagogical content knowledge, PCK for short. And most online course creators don't have it. Okay, this is one of the things I wanted to come and talk to you briefly about, because it's surprising to me that a lot of teachers have been totally unaware of the online course industry. All right, and I've been studying that industry for the last 15 years and know quite a bit about it, because ever since I left the classroom way back in 2004, I've been looking for ways to support teachers. Um, there's let me say there's courses online right now for ranging anywhere from $12 to $5,000. Okay, and of course you get what you pay for, but for the most part, um, we have a lot of these courses are they're being delivered by what I call 18-month experts, charging $2,000. Okay, um, and I'm not criticizing the people who paid the $2,000 for these courses, right? Because the market had a gap in it, and somebody identified that gap and made something for that gap, and then they offered it to people, and people bought it. Okay. Well, what I'm here to inform you about is that that gap also has your name on it, and you are more qualified and more capable of being in that space than the people who are offering these $2,000 courses. That's what I'm here to talk about. Um, you are involved in a system that calls everything quote unquote dedication, right? And I call it um, a ceiling. Okay, high performance is not equal to more pay in this structure. Expertise isn't just what you do in class, it's everything you've been quietly mastering. Okay, um, I have seen teachers who for example, writes lyrics for young people who are making beats. Okay, and some of these lyrics have actually sold. And so what you basically have is a teacher who is offering a very valuable service um, that is in demand in the music industry, and is worth a lot more than she is making from it in the classroom. Okay, I've seen a dog trainer, for example, you know, it was a demand for her to well, I wouldn't say a demand, but she had a personal need to get her young puppy trained, and realized that she couldn't afford it. So she did her own research, taught herself how to train the dog, did the thing herself, and then trained her dog beautifully, I might add. Three families came to her, and um, the next thing you know, she has people coming to her to do the same thing that she did for herself. Okay, um, that's a very valuable skill. Okay, I don't want to quote any figures, but I've seen people offer the same exact service to others for a lot more than $2,000. Okay, I'm just quoting you some examples because I'm yet to meet a teacher who's been in the classroom for more than, say, let's say 10 years, who haven't developed some very, very marketable skill. All right. Um, then there's a teacher. Listen, this is a remarkable thing about this. Um, we're not talking about a large school. This is my personal experience working in a school of just about 30 teachers. That's a small sample size. Good. And with such a small sample size, I can guarantee you that the same thing exists in every single school. I know teachers because I've been working with them for over 30 years. And I'm telling you, I'm yet to meet an experienced teacher who don't have this ability. Okay, so they've been conquering life at an extraordinary level. Then they have these pedagogical content knowledge areas that they can add to it. And if you put those two things together and package them, you have a very, very powerful something to offer to the public, to adults. We're not talking about to the students in what we call out here in the Dutch Islands, bailiffs or anything like that. We're talking about a very valuable, marketable um, service or transformation that once you package it, people will pay premium for. All you have to do is to find your people. Okay, there's this teacher, for example, that um, instead of going to the bank to build her house, she's every weekend would have a barbecue. She would organize her close family and friends, and every weekend she would do this barbecue. Fast forward a couple of years later, she has her house, and she continues to do this, and that thing has become an annual event, and that she does every year, even though her house is built, and it becomes more highly organized every single year. What I see from looking at it is somebody who has the makings of a franchise. Um, and, her skills are highly marketable in both voluntary services and in the commercial world as well. Okay. So again, I'm just pointing out things that I've noticed over the years I've been in education, um, with a very, very small staff. I've seen parents of children with ADHD, autism, um, and these are parents who are teachers, but personally they crack the code, and I know I have the skill to do something that they couldn't afford to pay the professional for. All right. I know for a fact that there are people who are doing this um, as a highly transferable skill that they and transformation that they give to other parents, and people are there who are willing to pay premium prices for such a service. I know a teacher. I'm just giving you rattling off examples that I know of personally. Personally, I'm hoping that one or two of these examples trigger you to begin looking at. Hey, I have skills like that as well, and I want to add to you again. You have PCK, what we call pedagogical content knowledge, that the I hate to use the word gurus, but the the influencers and so on who are out there offering a lot of the courses out there don't have this, and you're the one who is more well positioned to offer these courses and promise people the transformation that they're seeking. So the last example I was about to give you was about um, the teacher who does flower arrangements, right? And who doesn't know that there's a market out there for content. I mean, for event managers and the corporate world who um, would pay premium again for the kind of skill that she has, arranging these large and small flower arrangements that would look good on a stage, that would look good in just about any forward facing event. And she just does this for fun. Okay. And I'm sure that you can think of your own examples, right? I know an English teacher who is an exceptional writing coach, right? And she can't find the space to to and in her case, she knows that she's an exceptional course. She just can't find the mental space. You all work in school, so it's kind of difficult sometimes to find the space with all that goes on in school for. I mean, and she also has two jobs. All right, so she found it very difficult for her to pursue her real dream of becoming um, a writing coach. And for some of you who don't know, that is also an area that people globally are willing to pay premium for. And so when you combine it with the PCK, you have something very valuable. You guys get the message, right? That I'm trying to get across here. Um, it's it's one small school staff of 30, and I'm pretty sure that every school has this. Okay. Now, I'm not here talking about people quitting teaching, okay? Or I'm talking about stopping the giveaway, right? Because we know that, well, I know this is another area that teachers are not going to talk about voluntarily in public spaces. But I sat in my room for 25 years. And for some reason, a lot of the teachers started coming to me until it reached a point where I would be spending sometimes an hour or two almost every day talking to teachers about private things. A lot of times having nothing to do with schools. Okay. Um, and I know a lot of teachers complain privately about not being able to make ends meet. And with all the sacrifice that they're making every single day, struggling to pay their bills. Okay. And I just felt that the injustice of this is something I get a little angry about, and hence this rant. Okay, because teachers deserve a lot better, and it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to give it to you, and so I'm here to tell you that you have an opportunity, even though you might not realize it yet, to package what you know, and I'm going to help you to offer it to a global audience. Um, if you follow what we're doing with teacher-led schools. Um, my own story, for those of you who don't know, back in 2014, I started a salsa school in Montesema. This one wasn't even online, right? I'm not the best dancer in the world, but what I do have is some of that same PCK. And that school ran for about 7 years. Then there was a hurricane, I had to stop. And then I started again after the hurricane, and then I had to stop again for the pandemic. And then I started again after that, and that continued right up until the time when I retired. And then I think the last class I gave was sometime in November. And people are still clamoring for that course, and I intend to pick it up again as soon as I get this, what I'm doing here, launched. But it was always my dream to serve teachers in some way, and since I have the time now, that's exactly what I've decided to continue to do. Okay, the online education space, I'm here to inform you, has a huge problem, right? With those $10 courses, with the $500 courses, with the $2,000 courses, even with the $5,000 courses, most of them can't boast of a completion rate more than 15%. Most of them are somewhere between 5 and 15% completion. Why? Think about this for a moment. There's no learning design, right? Teachers don't have that problem. And the gap is not expertise, it's marketing. And marketing, unlike pedagogical content knowledge, can be learned fast. That is what this rant is about. That's what I'm here to tell you. Okay? And so I'm going to now leave this open to questions. I want to inform you that this is going to be done every week. Now, this is my first one. I've had some glitches. And as the weeks go by, those glitches are going to be cleaned up. But for right now, suffice to tell you that what you just heard for the last 10, 20 minutes is not going to continue. We intend for this to be opened up to just question and answers going down the road. If I don't have any questions, and I'm checking here to see, because I know that some of you can't access the chat. All right. I don't even know how many people are online, even though I know a lot of people will be looking at this via the replay. Okay, so if I don't see any questions coming up on my screen, I was just informing a bubble here from StreamYard that the comments are going to flash at the bottom of my screen, and I don't see any comments. So I'm going to seed this Q&A with comments that or questions that I've been getting from teachers over the years, because as I told you, I've been preparing for this for almost 15 years. Okay. The biggest question I tend to get is who would pay for this, right? Who would pay $2,000 for dog training, for example. Okay. And I don't want to go too much into the detail, but again, this is an area I've been studying for the last 15, 20 years. And I can tell you, there are some people who are doing the same thing and charging about $300 for such a course to adults. And there are other people who are teaching the exact same thing to a different clientele for $5,000 and have a waiting list. Seriously, right? And I'm also telling you that those courses are still the ones that only boast 5 to 15% completion rate. I am 1000% sure that everybody who listens to this live can do better than that. And the online course industry is not going to like me too much because this is a thing I'm going to be harping on for a long time, because teachers belong here, not some of the gurus and the influencers who I see. You know, some of them are pretty good. I mean, I just took a $2,400 course from one of the best in the market. Her name is Amy Porterfield, and a lot of the marketing that I'm going to be teaching you teachers I actually learned from her. So it's not that these courses are not worth it, right? But I think that teachers can do a lot better than some of them. Okay, and we should not be talking about not making enough money with all of these skills. Good. All right, so I'm not going to because I'm a little bit late and I have to jump over to the other live that I have to do. That one's scheduled for 7 o'clock. Right, so I'm not seeing any other questions. Tune in again next week at the same time, right? I'm going to be sending the notices out a lot earlier. As a matter of fact, as soon as I'm finished with the Facebook broadcast, I'm going to jump back in and see this again for next week. So come back next week. For those of you who only get to see this on the replay, put your questions there, right? And I want you to ask me for the link to join the Facebook group, because we have a longer, more valuable presentation in the group, because I tend to do that. I want to do that more in a private setting because I know the situation of teachers. Okay, so it's 7 o'clock. It's time for me to jump over on the other group. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Catch the replay, ask me questions, and get ready for next week. And I'm going to see you next week, Thursday, same time. Bye.